You know what I find interesting? In almost every depiction of medieval armour, movies, reenactment, articulated finger gauntlets take the centre stage. Not the mitten, which, if you actually look at the historical record, the mitten gauntlet is just as prevalent, if not more so, depending on who you were and what your needs were. So today, we're going to be looking at the mitten gauntlet, specifically our combat mitten gauntlet, and why you should at least consider it for your costume, for your reenactment, or your armour. Straight away, the first answer is force distribution. So when you take a strike in a fingered gauntlet like this, imagine you get hit in the index finger. That means that the fingered gauntlet, all the force goes into that one index finger. Versus the mitten gauntlet, if you take a strike in the index finger, it's spread across the whole plate rather than concentrated in the one finger. To my knowledge, these are perfectly legitimate. They're not some sort of modern compromise or budget reason. They existed alongside finger gauntlets and were just as prevalent. Now, I'm no expert, and I'd love for someone who does have that knowledge to weigh in, but to my knowledge, mitten gauntlets are just as historically accurate as fingered gauntlets. Here's one of my favourite things about these. The finger slip. It means that I can be fighting with my hands closed around my sword, but then if the need arises, I can use my fingers, just like that. If I need to do my chin strap or a buckle on some armour, I still have the dexterity of my fingers. Can't do that in a fingered gauntlet without taking the whole thing off. Once I've done up my chin strap, I just close my hand and I'm ready to go. How easy is that? So good for if you need to do a quick adjustment, or if you need to do a quick task in between combats. The mitten gauntlet lets it happen. Now, at the time of filming, I actually don't know of a historical record or example or reference for this sort of habit. It might just be a modern reenactorism sort of thing. However, if anyone does know that this was done in history, share it with us. That'd be brilliant. Leather gauntlets are worth mentioning as well. Now, these mittens are in leather and they're very similar to the steel ones, actually. You simply just wear them like this, fight gripped over your sword, and then if you need to do something more dexterous, you just flick out your hands, just like with the metal, and then back we go like that. Super easy. These leather ones are just as protective as the steel. They're lighter, and they're better for earlier period reenactors. Dark Ages earlier, stuff like that. So, one thing to consider with mitten gauntlets is lack of padding. Now, unlike a fingered gauntlet that comes with its own glove, mitten gauntlets typically they don't have padding in them. And a lot of the time, it's up for you to make it and make it custom. Something like sheepskin, or even something like cotton padding like this, or even a leather glove like that, just fine to pad out and stop the steel from rubbing on your bare knuckles. And the last thing is aesthetics. I must admit, fingered gauntlets, they do look the part and they're far more expressive than the mittens, but there's something about the solid, imposing nature that might tickle your fancy. So really, it's up to you on that one. So there's our take on the mitten gauntlets. Now, we've got to admit, we're not historians. We don't have the final word on any of this. What we are is a business that's been making this stuff for a while, and we've been surrounding ourselves with people who genuinely care about these things, historically, practically, and in the context of sort of modern reenactment. So often, you will know more than us about these specific topics. So if you've got a take, please feel free to drop it down in the comments. We want to hear your thoughts on the history, the technique, on the padding, the finger slip technique, whether that's actually historically accurate or not. Leave it in the comments. We'll read them. And if you disagree with something we've said, all the better to let us know and see if we can improve. So yeah, thanks for watching, and hope to see you take in the comments. Oh, and if you want to come and see these in person, we've got them in the store ready for you.